Welcome to another one of Pete's Picks. Today we're going to make a jig for your table saw to allow you to use it as an edge planer. It's a very simple jig to make, but before we start, I want to just give you a few safety tips. Number one, I'm going to take off all of my jewelry so that we don't have anything that can get caught. All of these items in your pocket, in a case, wherever you want, but don't leave them on. It gives a chance of machinery or something to catch, and we don't want to do that. Another safety factor, your safety glasses. These happen to be polycarbonate, which is a safe glass to use, so I don't have to change them. If you want to put safety glasses on top of that, that's fine, do that, all right? And make sure that you understand all of the instructions that are given with the machine that you currently are working on. All right, this is how difficult it's going to be to make. We're going to make 2 cuts on this jig, and that is it. Both of them very simple cuts. I've got a piece of 3/4 inch plywood here with a factory edge, which is nice and straight. The other edge is not straight, so I'm going to cut that and make it so that this board is parallel. Adjust my fence to any width. The size of this piece of plywood is arbitrary. I would keep it fairly big, 4, 5, 6 inches. It's just a little bit more stable that way. So we'll go ahead and we'll set it up so we can cut it to the size that we want. Okay, I'm going to cut it now, but I'm not going to talk because you wouldn't hear me anyway. Okay, that's cut number 1. I said there are 2 cuts. Here comes cut number 2. Cut number 2 is to go partially through this board with just the thickness of your blade. So we will just adjust our fence over. In this particular case, it's 3/32 of an inch. And you want to try and be as absolutely accurate as you can with this cut so that you are cutting nothing more than the thickness of the blade. So that's why I'm really looking down. Okay, now I'll make the second cut and a little hair off of, but that's really doesn't mean anything. Don't worry about it. Notice I stopped before I did the whole board. So that's the key. All right, we have made our 2 critical cuts. I'll just take this little bit of hair off here that's there from the cut. Now, don't change your size of the fence. Leave that exactly where it was. Take your board, turn it over so that this little piece that's wider from here to here is just beyond either your blade or, in this particular case, the splitter. Okay, now I have that there. Now I'll use 2 simple things. A clamp, just to hold this in place so it doesn't slide. I'll put one there. And I'll put the second one back here. And you don't need much tension. It's just so that this doesn't move as you're getting your board nice and straight. I've taken a board here, and this is now the board that we're going to get an edge grain nice and straight. What I've done with this, just for simple purposes, is you can see by looking at the edge here, there is a space. On the other side as well, there is a space. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this board through the saw. So what is happening is the same thing that happens on a jointer. You have a low table here and a high table here that takes up the difference that you are taking off your board. All right, again, gotta stop talking. Take a look at it. I don't know if 1 pass is enough. We might have to do another one. Yeah, I'm going to do 1 more pass. Now notice, by the way, that I have broken other rules of using a table saw. Generally, when we use a table saw, we want to keep our body here and we want to push on this side of the blade. But since we have this jig here, we're not able to, so we push from this side only. We're only taking off, in this case, 3/32 of an inch, so it's not a critical issue. We'll take a look at the board now. And if you notice, it stands up by itself, has no space down here. So we now have a clean edge, as if we went through a jointer. We have a jointer jig now that was made out of a piece of plywood that you can use whenever you wish. Now you can use that edge against your fence to make the other side parallel, and you have a nice parallel board, 2 edges. We cannot do the flat surface. That you have to do with a plane or a planer or a sander. That's the only way we can do that if you don't have your jointer.